Hi everybody, Mark Kirby again and again. Got some more cool tricks and tools for Excel that are going to be very useful for you for the project that I do not really cover specifically in any one of the chapters. So thought I'd take a minute and run through a bunch of them and show you. They are very, very practical but very powerful tools that do all kinds of cool things that you're going to need to know. So let's do some date stuff. Let's do some functions with dates. You guys remember the formula tab, and they've got a whole set of functions up here. One of them is date and time. There's lots of stuff in here, but let's go with a couple of good ones. Just real quick, if I throw in a now, this will tell you the current date and time, formatted as date and time. Bang. Tells you what's going on right there. Okay? So that's the now function. Another cool one is if you don't want the time, you go with today. The today function, notice, well, today function tells you what the date is today. Tells you how old or new this video is for you. But notice, there are no arguments inside of the parentheses for either of those functions, which is really kind of interesting. You know, blew me away, but very, very cool. Okay, let's talk about some other ones. I'm going to put in a date here. July 31, 2013. It's just a date, but I can have Excel tell me what month of the year that is, equals month. Select it, and it's the 7th month of the year. So if you're ever doing any math functions where you need to know how many months it is between September and December, you can convert them to numbers like this and then simply add and subtract those. Kind of cool. Let's see. Weekday. There's a weekday function equals weekday date, comma. What is the return type it's asking for here? We'll go back and check on that in a second because I'm drawing a blank on that one. So weekday 4, and that's based on Sunday being the first. No, I take that. Yeah, Sunday being the first day of the week. So this would be a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. This is a Wednesday. You know, then you could use an if M9 equals 4. Put Wednesday in this cell here. Let's go look up that function real quick, just because I am now curious. Insert function. Oh, hang on. Yeah, no, it just went into the editor. Here's the function wizard. The return type, number, 1 for Sunday, 7 for Saturday, put a 1 in here. Okay, that's what I always just assumed as a default. If you want Monday to be 1, put a 2 in here. Interesting. So you've got some options. I just always remember that Sunday, is 1, Saturday is 7, and that's how that function works. Let's see. Day equals. You can go day. Uh-oh. And if you botch it like that, you blow it up. Okay. Equals day. Open parentheses. Click on the cell. Hit enter. It tells you what day of the month it is. It's the 31st day of the month. We kind of knew that, but if you ever had to do any mathematical additions and subtractions, that would do it for you. Okay? Month, day, year, today, weekday, that kind of covers all of those. Okay? So those are some basic calendar or date functions in Excel. One that we've talked about briefly in class, perhaps, but I haven't really covered, is the concatenate function. And what that does is it will take information in different cells and string them together as text. So let's say, I'm just going to put something in here. Monday, park, 452. Let's just leave it at that. So there's 3 things in there. I can string all those together in text by going equals, concatenate, open parentheses, and it will put in everything that you want. You can type text in here, you can refer to the cells. So for the first bit of text, see the helper down below? Text 1 is what I'm going to put in here. And I'm just going to put it in quotes and type in, I need you to go on, notice I put the space in there because it will not insert spaces for you automatically. You got to put in the grammar, whatever you want in here, exactly the way you want it to show up. I need you to go on Monday, so put in the cell reference, comma, next bit of text, quotes, space, because I've got to leave a space between them, to the, leave the space, comma. Okay, so each, notice I'm separating each of the text fields by a comma. I need to leave the space, pick up, space, comma, put it in quotes, got to put it in quotes. And it also helps if you can spell and type. Okay, so I put a bunch of things in here and I've mixed and matched. So I've got some text that I typed in, I refer to some cells, okay, more text, cells, hit enter, and it like typed it out just as if you would type it out yourself. But if I change this, okay, okay, so as you change these things, it changes the information that ends up in your text. Okay? So that's a concatenate. That's how it's formatted. I'm going to copy this and park it right here below it. Hit F2, hit home, put a single quote in front of it and turn it into text so that you can look at it and see it. Okay? That's the same formula that's in this cell right here, just so you can see it. Okay? Alright, so there's another cool little function. Oh, did we talk about, well, I've blown it now. I've already left the date functions, but we didn't talk about eDate. I think we've covered this, well, may have covered this in class. eDate's cool because it returns, notice it tells you, returns the serial number of the date that is indicated X number of months before or after the start date. So, eDate, this, comma, so there's today's date, the start date, and let's say I want to be 7 months into the, here, I'm not going to use that cell. I'm going to put a number right here in 06. 06 dates into the future or into the past. And of course you got to format it as a date or it looks like garbage. Okay, so beginning date, 0 dates into the future is the same date, 7/31. 1 month into the future, 2 months into the future, 3, 4, 5. Notice it's getting the month end dates right. Doesn't care if it's 30 days, 31 days. It gets the month end date right. And if you're doing bonds or calculations where you need to know month ends, this is a very powerful tool. And that's just simply the eDate function. See, it even got 28 days for February. But if you put in negative numbers, it'll go backwards. Oops. So 125 months ago was 2003. Wow. I think it'd be more than that, but all right. Wow. Okay. So that's how the eDate function works. Okay, two more functions that are really, really big. They are tons of fun and they're very powerful. I use them a lot. And for that, I'm going to use this little area that I've set up already. I've made up some bogus guy who's going to take our money because he thinks he's a government agency. And I've come up with an income tax table. So if you make between $0 and $15,000, the government that I've created is going to take 2% of your income. 15,001 to 50,000, they're going to take 5% of your income. 50 to 75, they're going to take 9. 75 to 100, 25, and so on. Okay? Straightforward. So I've created this little table. And over here I've created a little input area and a spot where it's going to calculate what my tax is. Now we could do this based on lots of ifs, but that's too hard. We've got a table over here and I intend to use it. There's a function that will look down this first column until it comes to the closest number to this without going over, or the exact number if it just happens to be, and will come out and pull out the tax rate for me. Now this function, I'm gonna use the function wizard, is Vlookup for vertical. This is a vertical lookup. Looks for a value in the leftmost column of a table, and then returns the value in the same row from a column you specify. By default, the table must be sorted in an ascending order. Okay, remember that. That is key. Are these in ascending order? Yes. So Vlookup is going to go down the leftmost column, returns a value from the same row, X number of columns over, depending on what we tell it. Okay? So I'm going to go with that one, because it's what I want. So Vlookup, what am I going to look up? I'm going to look up the number that I'm looking for, 275,000, in the table. And I'm going to drag I want to look down this column, but this is the whole table. I've got to include all the columns that I might want to pull data from. Okay? And my column index number. Notice column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4 is the tax rate. I'm actually going to hard code that in there because it's not going to change. Column 4, and then range lookup, logical value to find the closest match in the first column sorted in ascending order, equals true. Closest match is true. Exact match is false. Most of the time when you use this function you want false because you want an exact match. But in this one we want the closest number without going over, so we're going to take true. Okay? So I'm going to type the word in true here, and it tells me that it's going to return 0.49, 49%. Let's check the math. 275,000, look it up manually. It's over a million or 100,000, 49%. Looks like it's working right. Okay? I'm going to hit OK, and it dropped that into my cell. Okay, it gave me 0.49. Do I care? Not yet. Here's the thing I missed, because the function wizard didn't let me do it. All I have to do is take the result of that and multiply it by, well, before I do that, let's change this to 10,000. And watch our amount change to 2,000 bucks right here, or 2.02, 2%. Let's change it to $50,000, 5%. 50,001, 9%. 75001, 25%. It's pulling the right number based on looking down this column finding the approximate match, the closest without going over. So now I'm going to take that, edit the formula, and multiply it by the income. And it tells me what your tax is. So if I go back to the original amount, $275,000 tells you your tax. $500,000 it finds you your tax. $50,000 finds your tax. $40,000, $10,000, $500, and it just looks up the rate in the table and it finds it for you. Okay? So pretty straightforward. That's what the Vlookup function looks like. Let's recreate it just for fun. Okay? Equals. We'll do this one manually. Vlookup. Vlookup. The helper pops up. What am I looking up? This value. Comma. What's the table I'm looking in? I can still go over here and visually select this and outline it. If I were going to copy this formula down in a row or something, you would need to lock your references here, or the table that you're looking at would move or migrate with you. Okay? Column index 1, 2, 3, 4. I had a 4 in here. And I want approximate match true. Hit enter. Yep. Times I5, hit enter, and I'm back to where I was. So I will, let's do this. I'm going to copy this and paste it right here. And I'm going to put single quote in front of it so that it thinks it's a bunch of text and you can see what it says. Good? Now let's have some fun. Remember that concatenate we were playing with earlier? Equals, concatenate, and I'm going to put in quotes, your tax rate is, comma, space, end quote, comma, and I can put that function back in here. Vlookup, right? I'm not going to multiply it by the point I5, but I can type in Vlookup I5, comma, A8 to D12, comma, column 4, comma, true. Notice all the wizards and helpers are coming on here. This is a good sign. Your tax rate is, look up the rate, comma, different text area, in quotes, space, no, I don't want a space, percent, end quote, or hang on, exclamation point, end quotes, and parentheses. So I've got concatenate, typed in some text, had it do the Vlookup function for me to find a number, the tax rate, put percent and exclamation point behind it. Hit enter. So it tells me your tax rate is 2%. Let's change this. $50,000. Your tax rate is now 5%. At 75 grand, your tax rate is 9%. But it doesn't look right, does it? What do we do about that? I'm going to teach you another new function here real quick. Because it shouldn't say 0.09%, right? It needs to look like a percent. There is a function that turns anything that you get into text. Text, and you go find the value. I'm just going to pick a number for right now to demonstrate. Take the 9%, comma, and it wants you to format it. So how do I format this? I know that it's a lot like when you it's going to crash right now. I'm going to let it because I want to show you. The format formulas are a lot like when you go to the format function and format cells, and you go to number custom. See how they have these formatted down here? So they've got $ number, comma, this will have commas in it, $0, comma, percent, comma, so we can do things like that. And that's the same type of formatting it's looking for. So I'm going to go back up here. I'm going to go into edit mode, take out the stuff I messed up, and I'm going to try and format it as, take the single out so I get my helper. Text value format, I'm going to put in number, and parentheses. And it doesn't like that. Don't know why. I always have to look up the formatting part in a book myself, so take that out and format it as a percent. No, percent, number. Sometimes things are trial and error. Or in a second, I'm going to get my book out and look it up. Number, comma, number, 0.0. Oh, I think it wants it in quotes, perhaps? There is a trick to this. There we go. So it took 9 and it turned it into text for me. And it was the fact that I didn't put it in quotes. So now let's fix it and make it look like what we want. Percent, 0.0. There we go. Oh, I put the percent sign in front. I don't want the percent sign in front. Perhaps I want it number 0.0%. And it puts it behind it. Nice. Okay, so we're going to use the text function that I just used here. I'm going to hit F2. I'm going to put single quotes in front of it so we can see it. And then I'm going to edit this function up here. Concatenate, your tax rate is Vlookup. We're now getting into some serious stuff where we're going to have 3 functions in one cell. So instead of just Vlookup, I'm going to take text of Vlookup. That's my value. Okay. Comma, format, and I'm going to come down here and look at what I figured out down here. I'm going to take out the percent because that's going to go in automatically and use the quotes that are there. Number dot 0% end quotes, enter. I'm missing something. I'm missing a parentheses, and that's what it was telling me. I needed, look, I have 1, hit F2, it's bigger. I have 1 open parentheses, 2, 3, and I left it at 1, 2. It added the third to make it right, and I'm good. Your tax rate is 9%. Change this, and it changes 49%, 49% still at 110, 25% at 90 grand, and so on. Okay. So that is a Vlookup. It comes down the column, comes across, finds you the number in the same row in a different column. Good? Okay. I laid this out a different way. Here's the same exact thing. Notice 15,050, 75. Here's tax must be more than this and less than this. It's the same data and the same, the same tax rates, but the table is laid out differently. Now I could go through all the effort of redesigning my table to look like the one up above, or I can go with this. And there is the sister function to the Vlookup, and this one, instead of being a vertical lookup, is a horizontal lookup, and therefore it is called Hlookup. And what it's going to do is it's going to come across the top row of the table and return a value, after finding a match, return a value X number of rows down into the table. Okay? So I want to look up my tax, or what's my income? I want to look up my income, comma, in the table. I don't need the text, I just need the amounts, comma, and what row number do I need? 1, 2, 3. You always count the first one, so I need the third row, comma, T-R-U-E, spell it right and it works. Okay? So true. At 109,000, I get 0.49, 49%. At 99,000, it drops to 25. At 65, it drops to 9. 45, it drops to 5. Okay, and at 10, it drops to 2. So that's working, but it's coming across the top and then looking down 2 rows. Again, what I'm missing is the multiply by the tax. Uh-oh. What have I done? I'm going to click no, because I want to see what I did. Multiply it times, oh, I didn't click on the cell. What are you doing to me? Alright, I'm going to hit escape and get out of this, because I've done something wrong. Lookup this times that cell, E25, hit enter, works. Okay, there we go. I'm going to type in 90,000 just like there is up above, and I should get the same number. Notice I have my concatenate with the tax down here. Oh, I did it a little bit different. Your tax rate is text Lookup this time, and then number, percent this year. So I've got concatenate text Lookup instead of Vlookup, and I use slightly different words, but I get the same place. Okay? So that's the fun and exciting H and V lookups. They are very, 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 very powerful. Let's do one more example, because I want to show you the difference between a approximate match and a exact match. Okay, everybody remembers the Daily Sentinel, right? Okay. This is just a list of dates down one column and in the month of July. So if I want to find out what was my circulation on a specific date, I could go enter the date here. Uh-oh. So I put in the 31st. I don't know why. Circulation is, and it will give us an answer. Let's make some more space here. And all I did was move that cell. Go! So I want to know what the circulation here is. So I'm going to go, I need to know a couple of things though. Remember, I need to know the day, because these are all in 1, 2, 3, 4, so I have to convert this to the day of the month. So the day, we wouldn't show our user this, equals day, and that's the 31st day. So knowing that, we can go equals, is this a horizontal or a vertical lookup? It's a vertical because we're going down, so it's a V, V-L-O-O-K-U-P, Vlookup 31, because that's the days, in, outline the whole table, okay, comma, how many columns over do I want to go? 1, 2. I'm really only going to look for 2 in this example, comma, let's go with true as an approximate match. Hit enter. 69,368. Does that match on the 31st? Yes. Maybe my example's not going to work out for me here. False makes it. Alright, look. Don't take the comma out and it'll work. Okay, even on an exact match, it's coming out. Okay, I'm going to play with this. We're going to plug in some... I need to do this in a different spot, don't I? Let's take this out. Let's find some more data. Bear with me, I'll be right back. Okay, well, to prove my point, to show what I want to show, I had to modify the example. So I changed some of the data over here, and I made them close. 1.121, 1.212, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. Okay, so they're different. And then I changed this to a number. Enter the number. So I put in 1.3. And I changed my VLOOKUP so that I look up 1.3 in the range, and I left it as an approximate match, true. And at 1.3 it comes and it finds 75814. Am I over 1.3? No, I'm under it, but it works. So to prove my point, what if I wanted to know if I had done my data input right? First, in Q7 I would have done data validation to force it to be correct, but let's say I didn't. Let's say I was lazy, but I did type it false here. So by saying false, I'm forcing the user to give me an exact match. Hit enter. I got NA. Is there a 1.30 in this column? No. And it's telling you it's not there. This can be an important thing to know when you get an NA or some other error when you try and use this formula. And that's part of why I wanted to show it to you. Okay? Other things that, well, I think that covers the VLOOKUP at this point. H and V and some other things. Okay? So again, if you have questions, please bring them to class. I love the questions. They're tons of fun. Hope you're enjoying the class, and I hope you enjoy my videos. If you do, perhaps you can hit the old thumbs up button there on YouTube while you're looking at it. I'd appreciate it. Give me a little feedback. That or give me feedback in class. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in class.